Teaching number 97. My love as Master and the maternal balm of Mary descend on your wounds. The Mother is always with me to unite her tender teaching to the lesson that I am giving you, and she extends her protective mantle over this humanity that walks away from the path that I left traced on the cross with my example. With how much love I return to you after having been crucified and unknown in the second era. I come as a father, as a brother, as a master, as a friend. Now you are the ones who cry, because before my words of forgiveness your spirit trembles, but that crying purifies you and leads you to the path that tomorrow, as my disciples, you will have to travel. Truly I tell you that there are few who, having listened to me at this time, have not felt that their hearts are moved. For this reason, while some surrender to my service full of submission and selflessness, others remain listening to me, waiting for me to point out their mission. Some bless my name even in the hardest trials, others only look for me when they need me, but I treat all of them as very beloved disciples. There are those who, understanding the importance of that message, take advantage of the last of my teachings. These will be the strong ones when my word ceases to be heard in this form. There are also those for whom my communication has not been of great importance, content with listening to me, and for this reason they let the meaning of my teaching go unnoticed. These will be among those who will yearn tomorrow for my pleasures of this time, and from among them those who try to revive my manifestations will arise, forgetting that the time that I have set for my revelations has always been limited. I tell you, even divine lessons have an end. Did not Moses depart once he had revealed my law to his people? Do you not remember that I, in Jesus, rose from among men when I concluded my mission as Master and Redeemer, after telling you, all is finished? So at this time, when my revelation has been transmitted and the prepared minds have allowed my message to manifest, and those whom I have called golden scribes have recorded my word and my spiritual realm has delivered its message, I will also say to you, all is finished. Then this voice will be silenced and a new stage will appear before the disciples, the communication of spirit to spirit. No one ignores the day appointed by my will for this to be, therefore know that that moment is approaching. Eat and drink the bread and wine of true life so that tomorrow you will not be hungry or thirsty on the road. It is time of light for this people that I am calling from various places on earth. Among the multitudes I discover those who will follow me. Some have debts with me, others have been promised their inheritance. They are spirits that I have sent to dwell on earth, causing them to incarnate as man or woman, and right now I find them at the ages of children, adults, and the elderly. I come in pursuit of the spirits with whom I must form my people, to gather them and give them new lessons that will make them take a step forward on the path of their evolution. Each time I have appeared before my people in a different way to test their spiritual sensitivity. So in this time, communicating through the human understanding, I am testing them in their faith and in their spirituality, when I tell him, here I am in spirit before you as I promised you. Also in the second era I tested the faith of those men, when I told them through Jesus I come from the Father, but whoever knows the Son knows the Father. Many centuries ago, on the summit of Sinai, I had told the people, I am Jehovah, your God. In every age you have been waiting for me, and yet when you have had me before you, you have not recognized me due to your lack of vigilance and spirituality. I tell you that whatever form my presence takes, it will always contain truth and divine essence. I have told you that I have used various forms to manifest myself to the world, but these have not been a disguise to hide my spirit from you, but to humanize me, limit myself, and thus make me listened to and felt by you. Now I tell you that before expressing your judgment, listen to this voice until the moment of your conviction or enlightenment arrives, when the spirit becomes light. I know that you are judging the spokesman by whom I give you my word, and that you judge them to be impure, sinful and imperfect, but I tell you that I did not come to look for men or women who were pure, on the contrary, sinners, to elevate them through my communication. Do you believe that there are those who are pure in heart, those who are clean in body and spirit through whom I would have manifested myself? I tell you that not even in childhood would I have found them. If I have come to communicate with men through the understanding of some of them, it is because man constitutes the greatest work of all that I deposited on earth. If you consider that I endowed him with spirit, what better interpreter could he find than my spirit to speak with humanity? There you have the reason why in all times man has been my best conduit to express my divine thoughts. Thus, with infinite love and care, I have been cultivating the human spirit to elevate it to the regions of the eternal and the perfect. In the middle of the paradise of my creation, man was placed so that he could enjoy the work of his Father, filled with wisdom and, being spiritually great, being part of my divine concert. I made my beloved Son a prince on earth, giving him authority over beings inferior to him. All his path has been illuminated by the light of my spirit, light that you call conscience. In his long path of evolution, man has seen wonders, but he is barely at the beginning, because he still has much to know. Know that when I speak to you of wonders, I am not only referring to those that you will find along the paths of science, but also to spiritual revelations. This time you live is one of surprises and enlightenments for your spirit, a time in which all the powers and senses of the spirit will awaken in the most hidden of your being. Listen, meditate, ascend from infants to disciples learning in the book that my word reveals to you. Study nature and take a look at the universe that also speaks to you with the voice of a master, since I am present in everything. Observe with love or at least with interest, and you will see that everything points the way to truth. Never like now have you been prepared to understand that everything speaks of me and that my imprint is in everything as the indelible seal of the author of life. Material science has revealed many mysteries to you, yet you never expect your science to reveal to you all that you need to know. The science of the men of these times also had its prophets whom humanity scoffed at and judged as lost in the mind, but later, upon verifying the fulfillment of what they predicted, you have been amazed. If in this way the word of the prophets of science was fulfilled, those who predicted the temporary fruit of human science, how will the fulfillment of the prophecies of the seers of God be, when announcing to you the establishment of a kingdom of peace, immortal in the heart of humanity? Now the seers announce a new world. They are prophets sent by me, to whom you must listen, and if you had been prepared by analyzing my words and promises of past times, nothing that I have manifested to you in the current time would have surprised you, but I have found you tired, sick and busy in your human life, so before revealing to you great lessons of wisdom, I have first had to heal you, comfort you and inspire you to amend and regenerate, to make you enter the path of peace, the only way you could think about the spiritual life. I only have a few years left to be with you through this communication, and you must take advantage of my teachings. Time does not pass over my spirit, but it does pass over man. Therefore, these years that seem so long to you now, but that before your spirit are brief, take advantage of them. I promise to spill over your mind torrents of wisdom, which will be the only thing that I will leave you after my departure. Neither gold, nor names, nor titles will I leave you, only my teachings. This seed is already beginning to bear fruit among you, because if yesterday you materialized your worship towards me, now instead, you try to spiritualize yourselves to approach the truth. Your spirit has had to pass through a crucible of pain in order to take a step on the path of spirituality and become teachers of humility in patience, strength and faith. From your spirit I expect understanding and respect for others. You will not judge your brothers by the way they raise their worship. Truly I tell you that only I know how to discover in hearts the flowers of faith and love, whose perfume I receive as the best offering of the Spirit. Nor will you ignore those who do not recognize in Mary the divine tenderness that became a woman so that the Word might take human form in her virginal womb. She also in these times has come to teach you, because in the heart of the mother there are no secrets for the children either. Truly I tell you that her motherly voice will be heard by all humanity of this time. In me you can find all the love, because I make you feel my presence and my strength as a father, that I make a maternal breath reach your being, or I give your spirit the joy of listening to me as master. Allow this seed to germinate in you, so that from the bottom of your being all the affections that the spirit should and can manifest, both towards its heavenly Father and towards its brothers, can sprout, loving one another. Can you imagine the joy that will be in the spiritual kingdom when all those who have lived to sin, quarrel and profane finally love each other? You cannot imagine the joy of your Father or the joy that will be in the spiritual world. My Spirit created you to accompany me, because I was alone. But I destined you so that you love one another, and with your love you fill me with happiness. I am your Father and I am hungry and thirsty for your love, because you have turned away from the path that conscience points out. I formed you to love you, but you still do not see that light fully. Your terrestrial ambitions lose you, and although sometimes you turn your thoughts to me and feel grateful for my blessings, you have not understood that the best homage that your gratitude can offer me is that love between brothers, of which my doctrine tells you so often. Beloved disciples, when you listen to me like this, it seems difficult or impossible to please me, but that doubt is not from your spirit but from the flesh, because it is fragile. Instead, the Spirit was created for great and worthy works for which his life was given. I bring you this teaching to elevate you to true life. However, keep in mind that the salvation of humanity will not be done in an instant, because just as it needed time to descend spiritually, it will also need time to rise. That time that only I can provide you, I will give it to you to carry out your regeneration, your purification, and restore what you have destroyed in yourself and in your fellow men. Although only a small part of humanity has heard my word at this time, no one thinks that they were chosen as righteous, because I found them sinners, like the entire human race, but in my judgments it was so appointed. Tomorrow, when the essence of this word has reached all hearts, you will know that my testament was distributed over all my children, and you will find that in each of my thoughts and in each of my lessons, there was a caress for those to whom my message reaches. Your wounds have healed, my balm has been in your heart. Now listen to me, because soon you will go looking for those who also carry pain in the spirit and in the flesh, who can better understand their sorrows if not those who have lived them. Life, being a teacher, turns infants into instructors, so that they, with light, knowledge and experience, can be advisors and guides to their siblings. My doctrine, together with the lessons of life, make the spirit illuminate with the luminous beacon of conscience, illuminating the steps of man. Until that light is reflected abroad through good deeds, lofty thoughts and words with a spiritual essence, man will have to feel weak, fearful, selfish and distrustful, but when that light begins to dominate the darkness of your mind, to manifest its essence, then peace will come to the heart, faith and trust in life will appear, strengthening the spirit so that it can serenely go through the difficult hours, the hard times. Give evidence that all destiny contains. My word is the way. It is the divine law that guides you towards perfection, it is the light that elevates the spirit but that has been clouded when the flesh, due to its hardness, has imposed itself ignoring the interior call of its conscience. Then, woe to the spirit that has yielded under the impulse of matter and has allowed itself to be dominated by the influence of the world that surrounds it, changing its position as a guide for that of a defenseless being who is carried from one place to another by the passions and human weaknesses like dry leaves when they are carried by the wind without a fixed direction. The most freedom-loving man, submitting to the divine will, is fearful that his spirit will come to hold him, depriving himself of many human satisfactions that he knows harm him, and he abandons the path that leads him to true life. The flesh fears the struggle with the spirit and seeks a way to tempt it with the pleasures of the world to prevent its freedom or at least delay it. See how man carries within himself his own tempter. This is why I have told you that when he manages to defeat himself, he will have won the battle. Much of what I am telling you in this communication is being received intuitively by countless men, because it is the time when life with its lessons has shed light on many spirits, directing them to meditation and learning to hear the voice of conscience. They walk towards the truth, understanding that this is the path that leads to peace, to true freedom and to the supreme joy that comes from living in harmony with the one who created them. Study my lessons thoroughly, disciples, because just as you have seen everything that was announced by the prophets of the first era fulfilled, so you will see everything that I have announced through the mouth of these spokesmen come true. At every step and every day, one of my words is fulfilled without you realizing it. It is necessary for my word to come out of your nation so that it is believed and obeyed, as happened with Jesus, who had to leave the village of Nazareth, where he spent his childhood, to be believed in other lands. In 1950 I will cease to give you my word through these spokesmen, but it will be kept in the hearts where I encourage faith, which will take it to other nations. I will make use of men of good will and hearts jealous of the purity of my doctrine, to make this message of love and forgiveness reach humanity. Those who rise up as emissaries will bear kindness in their word and in their deeds, but they will never bear bitterness. Their eyes will know how to cry for the pain of others, and their temples will be enlightened suffering for their brothers. They will live and die loving, forgiving and blessing, and they will reach the end of their journey without bitterness, fatigue or disappointment. The disciple of the third era will keep in mind in his life that the fruit of the spiritual sowing is not collected on earth. Why then do many who call themselves my disciples get discouraged before the ingratitude, or the indifference of humanity? I have brought infinite sweetness in my word so that you carry it through life, since my word in your spirit is strength, encouragement, joy of loving and serving. The good disciple will have nothing to fear and will know how to serenely traverse rough paths and painful trials. His ever-vigilant gaze through prayer will know how to discover the traps that his adversaries lay in his path. I will leave these words written, and they will reach my disciples of the future, and when they study them, they will find them fresh, alive, and their spirits will tremble with joy when they feel that it is their Master who is speaking to them at that moment. Do you think that everything I have told you is only for those who have listened to me? No, beloved people, with my word I am speaking for those present and for those absent, for today, tomorrow, and always, for those who died, for those who live and for those who are to be born. You say that my word and my work are very great, infinite, and you insist on limiting them through your works. Ah, if you knew how to prepare yourselves, overcoming your materiality, elevating your spirit through good analysis and a righteous life, what wonders and prodigies you would contemplate. You find it laughable that sometimes through the mouth of the spokesman I give you lessons addressed to all humanity, because you consider your world immense and the number of human beings incalculable, who ignores my communication, to which I tell you, when I speak to humanity, I do it not only for those present, but also for those who await the moment of arriving to inhabit the earth. But you must know that your world, before me, is like an atom, and the number of men who inhabit it insignificant compared to all the spiritual beings that make up my kingdom. Does the medium I have chosen to communicate with me sometimes seem too poor? It is not the first time that, as Father, I make use of the human mind so that you listen to my word, my mandates and revelations. This is a means that I have used at all times to speak to man, and you must note that the divine word has always come through humble, simple and apparently rude channels. Study and work, disciples. Look how insistently I have knocked on the door of your heart until you have opened it to me. I speak to you sometimes in a figurative sense. But I always do it with the same simplicity with which you speak. It is that my word comes now to explain what at that time was said in parables, and for this reason its true meaning has not been understood. Why travel through dark paths when I, with my word, have shown you a luminous path? I tell those who listen to me to open their eyes to the light of this doctrine so that they can admire its greatness. When I began this communication through the understanding of the first spokesman and spoke to the first disciples about the advancement that those who would come after them would have, telling them that my word would be perfected on the lips of the new spokesman, those multitudes they sighed and envied the last ones who speak of arriving at the Master's table to savor the seasoned fruit. Truly I tell you that the ripe fruit that I predicted is the one you are savoring, because you must know that my word is reaching its culmination within this form of communication with you. Only a few years remain until the year 1950 arrives, and in it the Master will say goodbye to you. Tomorrow, to those who did not hear me through this teaching, within your time, I will send you my message. Some will receive it because of the testimony of those who listen to me, others will receive it through the writings, and others through the gifts of intuition and inspiration. In this way the prophecy will be fulfilled that my spirit would be poured out in all spirits and all flesh at this time. It's up to you to clean the path, removing obstacles and stumbling blocks, thus leaving a trace of charity and love for those who later come along this path in search of spirituality. The spiritual awakening of humanity is near. Do not despair when you watch the years go by, without noticing a favorable change in the morals of men. Watch, learn, work and know how to wait. Do you believe in my word? Do not forget that I have told you that, every eye will see me, every mind will understand me and every mouth will speak of my word. That time is approaching, but it is necessary for the people who listen to me to be clean of sin and to be strong in their faith so that they can bear witness to me, as I have been able to give it to you by communicating through your understanding. My words will remain written down in the Golden Book, so that after 1950 no one will say that my communication is necessary. In my lessons, which are for all times, I leave you wisdom, orders, prophecies, sustenance and balm. You will learn to read in the book of my teachings, so that when you read for your brothers, those words are saturated with divine essence, and those who listen, live and feel as you lived and felt when hearing me through the spokesman. Disciples, remove your sorrows from your hearts while you hear my lesson. Feel the divine anointing and keep my strength in your being. I want you healthy, never sick, tearful or weak. Many times you believe that I punish you when the pain hurts you, but I only teach you. It is you who attract the pain. You have been called for a long time to carry out such a great mission, and you have ignored my voice. But now I let you know that that peace that you have long sought without finding it, will be given to you by your fulfillment in my laws. See how those who have fulfilled are safe, free from vicissitudes. I have told you that you have not come to earth just once, but that your spirit has taken a shell as many times as it has been necessary for its development and perfection. Now I must add that it also depends on you whether the time to reach the goal is shortened or prolonged, according to your desire. My light is vibrating in all the homes where my children dwell. This is how the earth is wrapped in that clarity. I tell you again that the prophecy that every eye will see me, every mind will understand and every mouth will pronounce my word when the Spirit is prepared is being fulfilled. I have announced this to you, and the day has come when my words will be fulfilled. How many disciples and how many infants of the second era felt the desire to witness the fulfillment of my promises, to live and feel what is taking place today? That desire to know made them prepare and reach higher elevation. However, it was not given to them then to see some prophecies fulfilled because another era was reserved for them. I would come when the world was at its height of materialism, to manifest myself in spirit and speak to you through men, women and children and teach you the perfect communication with my divinity. I want to convert you into sowers of the truth, and that it be manifested in your words and in your deeds. Some positions will be entrusted to each one so that all of you may have a part in the spiritual mission that my work will carry out. I have promised this nation that there will be no war in it if my disciples practice my teaching. They, when contemplating in other nations the ravages caused by division and hatred, ask me not to shed blood on this ground. I only ask you to pray and watch so that you become worthy of the fulfillment of that promise. I don't want to see you cry. If injustice reigns and you suffer the tyranny and rigor of those who govern you, do not blame me. I have given you the power to do great works that transform your dwelling into a valley of peace. It is prophesied that many peoples will disappear. This family that is humanity will be hit by great whirlwinds, and in that test those who have watched and prepared their spirit with love will stand up, with living faith in me. Take advantage of this time because the hour of justice is approaching and the year 1950 is at the door. For that day many of you will be in spirit and others in matter, but you will all be judged. That will be the beginning for all men to walk towards spirituality along different paths. The men of science will recognize me and will become advisors to humanity. The book of my wisdom will be opened for them, in which they will receive very great revelations. It will be then when the Spirit opens to the human mind the path of true knowledge, and the conscience that regulates the acts of men. The earth will be clean, and those who survive will follow me with the same eagerness as my disciples of the second era, but it will be you in whom I leave the first seeds of spirituality. As universal shepherd, I tirelessly search for my sheep. On earth, those who reach a higher spiritual elevation will march before humanity, for love and humanity. The true wise man is the one who knows my laws and does my will. Thus, with infinite patience, I will form my disciples in third time. I love you, and for the same reason, I wish to see you all great in spirit. Do not forget my words, but if in your memory you do not manage to keep everything that I have told you, there will remain the books that will contain my teachings, my revelations of this time and the acts of my disciples. Feel and obey the inspiration that I send you, because everyone who rises with limpidness towards me will receive my consolation, will have joy in his heart, and my word will flourish on his lips. My peace be with you. Teaching